lovely listeners, and welcome back to Reasons to Care, the podcast all about heartwarming stories and making a difference with Diverse Abilities, Dorset's disability charity. I'm Claire, one of the managers in our children's team.
And I'm Michelle, a deputy manager in supported living. Welcome to the second series of Reasons to Care, and we're so excited to share with you all the different conversations and guests we've got coming up over the next few months. Claire, why don't you let our lovely listeners know who's up first?
My pleasure. So this time we're chatting to a lovely lady called Anne. She lives in one of our supported living bungalows, which Michelle's department looks after. She lives there with another lady and they have 24/7 care around the clock. Anne's here to tell us all about what it's like to be cared for by Diverse Abilities.
And I'm sure she'll tell us about her recent holiday too. And of course, don't forget, you can check out career vacancies online at any time at diverseabilities.org.uk/careers.
Thank you ever so much for joining us today, Anne. We really appreciate you coming along. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself? For example, how long have you been with Diverse Abilities?
I have been with Diverse Abilities 3 years.
Wow, that's quite a long time, isn't it?
And I came to 103.
So 3 years is a long time, Anne. Can you tell us what your week looks like when you're with Diverse Abilities? So on a Monday, what do you do on a Monday?
I do bingo on a Monday.
And do staff support you to bingo?
Yes, Mel does every other week.
Lovely. And on a Tuesday, what do you do on a Tuesday?
We do a coffee morning.
Is it just coffee morning that you do on a Tuesday?
Sometimes it's a brunch.
Oh, brunch, that sounds nice. And then on a Wednesday?
I do knit and natter.
Knit and natter on a Wednesday. So that's not run by Diverse Abilities, is it? That's run by another agency, am I right?
No, it's run by Palmer Care.
There we are, Palmer Care. So what do you do on a Thursday?
Not really anything.
You have a free day on a Thursday, don't you?
Yes.
And on those free days that you have, like I'm thinking of a prime, I know that you and a carer took the bus and you went on a day trip. Where did you go on that day trip?
Well, I went on a day trip with Mel to Salisbury.
You did, didn't you, in that time? So you got a quite a chunk of time. You managed to get the bus, didn't you, with Mel?
Yes.
And you went to Salisbury. What did you look at when you were in Salisbury?
Well, we went to the market and did some eat.
You had some
lunch? In the market, yes.
Lovely.
And we did try and look at the cathedral, but it wasn't opened. But Stephen is going to get us a season ticket for the Salisbury.
So you can go back with staff and staff can support you to have a look round?
With Mel, yes.
Okay, so Thursday's a free day. What about on a Friday?
I do hunger lunch, but at the moment it's closed for the school holidays.
Oh, but then it'll come back in September when the schools go back. Is that right?
Yes, on the 6th of September.
Lovely.
And I do tea and chat once a month.
You do
like
once
the
a
hub.
month? Yeah.
Yes. And we go tomorrow.
Oh, is the hub tomorrow? Oh, wow.
No, the tea and chat is tomorrow.
Tea and chat's tomorrow. Okay. You're a very busy lady. You're far busier than I am. And then there's still Saturday and Sunday. So what do you do on a Saturday?
Not really much, no.
Am I right? In the past, you've maybe, because you quite like crystal art, don't you? So as staff...
we did do that, but...
Staff support you to sort of trial a little mini group with other people in the service?
No, we did do, Mel and I did do that.
Yeah. Taking a little bit of a break for that now.
Yes, we are.
And on a Sunday, what do you do on a Sunday?
Go to church and that's it.
Go to church and then what about after church? What might you do?
Maybe chill out.
Yeah. Might go for a coffee?
Probably something like that.
Yeah, you quite like a coffee.
Depends what shops have opened on a Sunday.
That's right, yeah. So for all these activities, you have staff that come and support you to those activities.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
How important is that staff member for you in those activities?
Important. Very important. Because I'm frightened if somebody comes behind me and I wouldn't know what to do.
Exactly. So that having that staff there to support you is really important, isn't it?
Yes.
So we've already talked about when you're outside, but when you're inside the house, I understand that staff help you with personal care, with making your meals, shopping, gardening, and any sort of household tasks. Is that right?
They do the household.
Excellent.
So I obviously work for children's team, so I don't know a lot about adult services, but I'm learning, and I understand that the supported living bungalows are all very friendly with each other, and you go round to people's houses for coffee and barbecues. Is that right?
Well, I'm just getting used to Jeff and Pete and Martin and Jane, which I went on the holiday with, which is all done.
You did. Yeah, we're going to move on to the holiday very soon, aren't we?
And Mel and I really enjoyed it.
So with that in mind, have you built friendships since you've been supported with Diversibility? Have you made friends amongst other people that are supported by the team?
Yes, I have. But it's taken a long time.
It has. When I first met Anne, so Anne had maybe been, well, not first met, but when I sort of took over supporting Anne in her service, the one thing she felt, I think if it's Anne would agree for me to say, is that she felt alone, and that it took a while to build those bonds. But you've worked really hard, and yeah, like you have several friendships now in supported living, and I think that's just through having that time to go to the service, and like say there's a barbecue, or sometimes there's craft activities on at one of the houses, isn't it? I remember you went.
That's 231.
Yeah, that's right. And you went there and you were very excited to show me when I came in what you'd produced from that, which was lovely. Really, really nice.
Yes.
I think that's one of the things that I'm learning about supported living, is that it is a real, almost tight-knit little community of its own. Whilst you're accessing the community and going out and about, there is still that community feel within the people that are supported.
Definitely. And not everybody's connected, but there is definitely that link. And I think it's really lovely when you have that, when you maybe struggle with friendship outside diverse abilities and you struggle to bond, that to then come and be able to go to another house and have a barbecue or do a craft thing or just to meet for coffee. And then it's people with similar experiences and how they feel through it all.
Yeah. So did you just say earlier, Anne, that you went on holiday with one of the friends you made within Diversibilities?
I went with Catherine, Mel and Jane, which is 433.
Can we say that this was we don't have to maybe give away your age, but it was for a special birthday?
Yes, it was.
And for something that you'd never done before?
It's what I was supposed to do when my mother was alive, but she said I wasn't well.
That's right.
So it's in place.
Yeah. So can you tell our lovely listeners what it was you did? You went for 7 nights, didn't you?
Yes, we did go on 7 nights. We went from Southampton to Vigo.
Okay, so is that on a cruise?
Yes, it was.
Wow, so is it the first time you'd been on a cruise?
It's the first time Mel and I had been on.
Amazing.
But it was absolutely smooth.
Smooth sailing, as they'd say.
Yes, it was a quite smooth sailing, except on the second day, or the second evening, I should say, that it was football.
Oh, yes, that's right, wasn't it? It was England playing, so it was a little loud.
Yes.
Can you remember the places that you went to? So I know Vigo was one. Can you remember where else you stopped?
Vigo was the first one, and Lisbon was the second one. And I had what my mum gave me, but we've only ordered mussels, but in memory of her, we had the mussels.
You did,
well,
didn't
I did,
you?
yes, and had an ice cream with Catherine.
Nice. So then the next day?
It was Porto.
It was Porto. And what did you think of Porto?
It was all right, yeah, lovely.
They had one of my favourites on there, didn't they? They had a land train.
Yes, they did. We went on the land train, yes.
And that took you round Porto, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. And all this time, you had staff with you, didn't you? So Mel, your caterer, she was with you all the time, wasn't she?
And so was Catherine and Jane.
That's right. And was that something you'd never been able to do before?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Where did you get the idea from a cruise then?
My mum, before she passed away, yes.
Yeah. And so you did Porto, and then where else did it go after that?
Well, we went to Guernsey, but it never happened because there was 3,000 on the ship.
Oh, and they had to get off, didn't they? And it was quite a queue for you to get off Guernsey.
Yeah, so we did sunbathing and drank some mocktails.
You did indeed. And I'm sure I've seen a picture of you in a jacuzzi. Was that right?
Yes.
And was that your first time in a jacuzzi?
Yes, it was.
So there was a lot of firsts for this week away, wasn't there, really?
Yes, it was.
Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I loved it, and so did Mel. And we're going to want to go again next year with Nadine and Jane. So,
oh, that would be lovely, wouldn't it, to go back again? Would you do the same route or would you do a different route, do you think?
Well, I think it would be a different route if they had. But Mel and I did look on. But Stephen, my brother, wants to do 2 weeks.
That'd be lovely. So, Anne, obviously, you've been with Diverse Abilities for 3 years. You've lived in 2 different houses in that time. You've been supported to do all the activities you've told us about. And you've been supported to go on a cruise that sounds like a holiday of a lifetime. So how would you sum up the last 3 years for you?
Well, I think it was the happiest of my life after what happened.
That's really positive to hear, because I know that you have, we won't go too much into it, but in your life you've been sort of gone from one place to another place. So to hear that you're happy for Diverse Abilities is really lovely.
So thank you, Anne, so much for joining us today.
It's been lovely to have you.
So every episode we have notes from our happy jar where we talk about some of our favourite memories. So Anne, I would like to ask you, what's one of your favourite memories from your time within supported living?
But it's the bingo, which is the past 3 years.
Yeah, so being able to get out and about and meet people at bingo. And,
yes.
And I hear that you're quite good at bingo. You have good luck.
Sometimes I do.
Did you win when you were on your cruise?
Yes, we did.
You did. How much did you win?
Well, 150.
Wow, that's amazing.
Very nice, yeah.
So each episode we pull a note from our happy jar. So let me pull one out now. I think I've got an adults one. So here it is. Everyone coming together for our first Christmas party after lockdown and finally being able to be in each other's company again.
Oh, it was amazing. It was just, I think were you
Was that the first one?
Yes, that was the first one. Yeah, we couldn't do it before.
It was too emotional.
So, it was really lovely. We hired a church hall, and obviously money financing it is difficult at times. We were like, how can we sort of make, because the money that we've got, we want it to last. Mm-hmm. So we actually asked everybody to bring something. And we thought we'll try, let's see how it goes. It went I think it went really, really well. Everyone brought something different. We supplied like the hot drinks. So we had hot chocolate, tea, coffee, and then we had obviously soft drinks as well. We had music. And just, again, everybody turned out and had a lovely, lovely day, like a lovely evening. So much so that we're doing it again this year.
Yay!
But we're going to change the hall because it was great when it was, but we felt when we were making the hot drinks, we were a bit out of it. So we've now got a hall that's connected, like the kitchen's connected. So, and it's important when you see the people we support, it's always the next thing of them being together. So, we've got some people already now talking about Christmas party. How was it for you, Claire, obviously?
So I was just going to say, for us as a family, it was our first experience of a supported living event.
Okay.
Anna had only moved into supported living earlier that summer. And Mum and I were a little bit apprehensive. I guess we didn't really know what to expect. But both Mum and I left that evening and we said, you know what, if either of us weren't here tomorrow, it wouldn't matter because she's got her own little family now,
Yeah.
her own little community. She didn't want to know us. She didn't want to talk to us. And normally, like, as soon as she sees me, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't want to talk to me. I think I barely got hello because she was just off seeing all of her friends. And I just thought that independence away from us as her family was lovely to know that if something happened and we weren't around anymore, it wouldn't matter because she would have her own little family and her own, friends that she would be able to not replace us with, but to have that connection with. So for us as a family, it was just amazing to see her in that situation.
Good. And I think it wasn't anything
No, it really
spectacular
wasn't.
either. Like,
but it meant so much to them. And I think like when we saw Dave walk in, and he was like another little minor celebrity. Everybody wanted to talk to Dave, and then Mark walked in and everyone wanted to talk to Mark. And it was just so nice. It was like, I describe it as one big, happy, dysfunctional family.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
That we're very glad to be a part of.
Definitely. So my turn now. And I think I've got children's. So a parent called in the middle of the day on a trip at Legoland to say what a wonderful day they were having, and they wouldn't have been able to do it without our support. This is definitely one for you, Claire.
Yeah, so when we go to Legoland every year with Copenhagen Chaos, we always give the parents our phone number, and me and my colleague Amy literally just do like 20,000 steps walking in circles around Legoland, hoping that we might see someone. And for anyone that's been to Legoland, it's a really big site. So we just walk in circles and we're like, if you need us, just call and we'll come running. And I always joke and I'm like, I'm not running, but Amy is. So we were sat having our lunch and the phone went. And I was like, oh no, started like packing my bag up, getting ready to move. And Amy was like, yeah, we're on our way. Where are you? And this parent was like, no, there's nothing the matter. I just want to say thank you, because if you hadn't have come with us, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We were like, oh, that's nice. Wasn't what we were expecting. So yeah, I mean, every year I've got loads of stories about our trip to Legoland, and yeah, it's just incredible to be able to offer. So we put on a coach.
I was going to say, do the families go with you?
So the families come with us. We go on a coach. Each family is given a member of staff and then they go off for the day. So that member of staff is that extra pair of hands. So they can be the one that's distracting or the one that's holding the buggy or whatever it needs to be. So yeah, they go off for the day, have fun, and then meet us back at the coach at the end of the day. But every year there's numerous families that say, without you, we wouldn't do it. We either can't afford to do it, we don't drive, so we can't get there, or I just wouldn't be brave enough. That's a big thing. A lot of families say we wouldn't be brave enough to do it if it wasn't for knowing that they've got their one-to-one member of staff, but then they've also got Amy and I that can be there as well, so it can be all hands on deck if something goes wrong. So yeah,
I'm dying to know then, so when you're employing staff, do you employ the staff that are happy to go on roller coasters, or
it's a fight every time we do a theme park trip? Not so much Legoland, but when we're doing Chesington and Thorpe Park, the staff they're ready, poised to book their shift because they want to go. So yeah, we'd never make anyone go on a ride they didn't want to, but we usually find it's quite a good selling point for our staff when we're like, we go on theme park trips. Tick. They just don't know how long a day it is.
Yeah.
Don't tell them that bit to start with.
No, leave that bit, definitely.
So each month within our episodes, we do some myth busting.
So this episode's myth we have is adults with caregiving needs rely on others to decide their lifestyle for them. Claire, what do you think about that?
I think having heard Anne's story, I think it's very clear that Anne actually makes her own decisions. It was her that decided she wanted to go on a cruise, perhaps needed a little bit of help with where to go on the cruise, but she knew what she wanted to do. And I definitely think that she's chosen the activities that she likes. So things like her bingo that are really important to her. So I'm not really sure.
No,
I don't know about your experiences.
I'm with you on that. And I think what we try and do is we try and get with the person, whoever that is we're supporting, and find out their goals. So we might do that away from the team in general. So we haven't got any sort of insight from anyone else. It's actually, what do you want to achieve, however large or small that is, and we try and break that down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is a complete myth.
And I think from my experience of obviously my sister being in supported living, as a family member, that's certainly something that I feel that she has been given a voice. There's things that she's doing that she never used to do at home with us, things that she started doing or things that she now likes but didn't like previously. And that isn't because she's being led by somebody else. That's just because she's being given that voice and that opportunity to live her own life. So yeah, I don't think I really agree with that myth.
No, definitely. Another one that we've definitely busted, I think.
Absolutely. So I don't know about you, Michelle, and the people that you support, but we certainly, thinking of those young people that we have that may be non-verbal and might have a different style of communication, whether that be a PECS board or a pod book. Do you have people that would use that to be able to communicate with you their wishes?
Yeah, so we have something similar. So there's one particular gentleman who has an eye gazer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, won't communicate verbally, but will use his eye gazer to communicate with staff. And actually, family were quite against it coming in for a long time.
No way.
Yeah, because they felt it was an expensive piece of equipment. But however, we worked with the family to say, actually, that's his voice.
Yeah.
And if we don't have that, then it's going to limit everything for him. We have a couple of other people in supported living who are blind, so working with them on more sort of like a total communication.
Yes, yeah.
And sort of we have now a Next as well, and whiteboards that we can sort of build on. So yeah, there's various communications, to be fair, so that we're making sure we are hearing the person's voice, however they can say or not say.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Reasons to Care, the podcast from Diverse Abilities, Dorset's disability charity, all about what it means to work in care.
We'll be back again with you soon, so make sure you subscribe for updates. But in the meantime, don't forget to follow Diverse Abilities on social media. Check out our vacancies at diverseabilities.org.uk/careers, and we'd love it if you could leave a review if you have enjoyed this episode. Speak to you soon.
Bye.